No, this is not going to be an oil change video. I have plenty of those already, as does everybody else that's ever touched a car on YouTube. But I do want to use this moment of Ford maintenance that I'm doing on my Fiesta to give you a warning about the Ford lug nuts. These pieces of junk that will leave you stranded, almost left me stranded. If you have these style lug nuts on your Ford vehicle, get rid of them immediately and replace them with something like this, a solid steel from Guard. I like these, but there are several other versions out there that you can get as well, just whatever fits your vehicle best. So what was a scenario that almost got me stranded? Well, I was coming out of the shooting range like I normally do, and I was, not really paying attention to the road, and I hit a pothole, a very sharp pothole, got a flat tire. Okay, well, that's not a big deal. I'm a big boy here, and I can take care of a flat tire in no time whatsoever. So I grabbed the mini spare out because that's all I've got in this tiny little car is just that mini donut spare, unfortunately. But I grabbed that sucker and I try to take off the tire. I've got the included lug nut wrench and everything. Jack it up, try to take off the wheel, and the lug nut wrench does not fit on the lug nut. The lug nut wrench that's made for this lug nut, specifically made for this size with lug nut, does not fit, because I'm going to have some very, very close-up photos of this. But these lug nuts, which Ford used for a long, long time, have a shiny cover over them. Basically, it has a stainless steel cover, I believe. It might be stainless steel, it might be aluminum, I have no idea what it is. But it's a cover over a normal lug nut to save 8 cents per wheel, apparently. And unfortunately, corrosion gets down inside there and it poofs them out. Corrosion or water gets down there and freezes. I don't know what happens, but for some reason or another, these things get puffy and grow another half millimeter big. And that lies a problem of trying to get a wrench onto it, because if you only have the one lug nut wrench that's made for this size and this size gets bigger, that's a problem. Now, luckily, I'm a southern boy from the mountains and I had no problem finding a rock and hammering that SOB wrench on to these stupid lug nuts, and I got it free. But I did destroy a couple of these lug nuts. I mean, here's one of them that I had to hammer on, and there's some video of me here in my garage replacing the others. And I really did have to wail on these things to get them to seat. And just for comparison's sake, here is the new lug nut right there, and here they are installed on one of the wheels. Now this wheel still has the old lug nuts on it. You can see they are a little bit different profile. So there is a little bit of difference between the replacements and the official ones from Ford. I don't know if you can buy solid ones from Ford that look exactly like this. Not sure, didn't care, didn't ask. I just went to Amazon and got these. They're a perfect fit for my Ford Fiesta and probably for many other Fords as well. Just do your research on what size lug nut you need and buy the appropriate size. Bonus car maintenance section number 1 here on the video. I'm going to have to replace my rear windshield wiper, actually the entire arm and everything. About last November or so, I had my entire arm just completely broken too from damage from the sun, because this is a 10-year-old vehicle. The thing's just plastic anyway, and finally just got eaten up by the sun and broken in half just sitting in the driveway. Okay, that's fair. It's been in the hot Tennessee sun for 10 years. Got it. You're tired. Time to retire. Okay, so I went on Amazon and I bought the cheapest arm and wiper assembly I could find. And then it became a freezing day and I was driving to work. And when I activated it, the whole thing just broke off and went tumbling down the street at highway speeds. I was kind of worried there, but luckily very few people were on the road. And then I pulled over. I think I got a video of that. If I do, here it is right here. So now many months later, I got a slightly more expensive version off Amazon. Aslam! Aslam. Aslam. There we go. Aslam. I'm gonna go with Aslam. Okay, we got the wiper and we got the arm here. Yeah, see, that's the section that broke off right there. Now the ultra cheap version was also cast metal here. I'm assuming it was cast out of old Bud Light cans. Not sure. This one probably is too. I have no idea. They look very similar. But first of all, we've got to get this little remnants off right here. Oddly enough, the same 1/2-inch socket that I used to take off the oil drain plug also works for the rear windshield arm. Now, normally you need a puller of some sort, like a gear puller. I used a gear puller to to get this off. I'm not sure if I'll need it this time since this was off less than a year ago. The first one I really did have to crank on it to get that sucker off there. And I found it right here, just a simple gear puller that I bought many, many years ago from who the hell knows where or for what purpose. I'm sure I bought it in a pinch because that's usually the way I buy all my tools. And doesn't take much. Yeah, see, all I needed was, I didn't even need my wrench. I use that just with my hand. And it just crimps down on there, so. Yeah, see a little squiggly line right there? That is the heat element where the windshield wiper arm or blade will need to sit in order to be freed up if it's frozen. And just give her a click and all right, that works. Not only does it work, but it stops right over the defrost line. Our maintenance tip number 3 for the video: somewhere in your vehicle, put down what oil filter you need, the capacity of that oil, 4.3 quarts in this case, and the socket size you need to take off your oil drain plug, in this case, 1/2-inch socket. Put that somewhere in Sharpie underneath your hood, and you'll never have to go looking for it again. I had not originally planned this video to be a car maintenance tip video. Foreshadowing to a future video, by the way, right here. I do have a few more tips about maintaining your car and life in general, I guess. Make sure you write down all the information about your car's oil change needs and air filter needs and everything, and keep track of it. This thing is falling apart, which is why I'm upgrading this piece of junk book here that has been losing pages for well over 15 years since I've had the truck. And I've gone to these mini composition notebooks here. These things are great. I basically transferred everything I could remember and find into this guy here. They really stand out, they really work well, and in all of my cars I now have one of these with all the maintenance logs on there and a zebra pen. I've had these zebra pens out in the desert in the hot sun, the F301. These are great. They stand up to all kinds of heat in a car and have not leaked so far. I mean, your mileage may vary, but I basically just keep one of these guys with a zebra pen clipped onto it, throw that in the glove compartment, and I'm good to go. Now, these things are super cheap. You can get them at Walmart or Walgreens or what have you any day of the week for under $1 a piece. I went ahead and grabbed 30 of them right here off Amazon, and I'll have a link below if you want to do that too, because I'm going to also be using these for reloading logs and rifle logs and things of that nature, because I want to get a little more precise in my note keeping for my gun collection and gun hobby, because I've not really been very diligent with that. And I think having these on tap, on hand, if I need another one, I got a 30 pack right here. That will be very helpful for me, because I tend to get very lazy and just write things down randomly and then lose them. And speaking of writing things down, I highly recommend writing down the date and current mileage on the oil filter before you screw it onto the engine, because you don't know beyond a shadow of a doubt whether you'll be the next person changing the oil in that engine. Come to think of it, I date everything. The air filters in my house, the water filter in my fridge, my light bulbs. I go through and date everything while they're being installed. It's just super helpful for me in the future. Well, guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go subscribe. A lot more is on the way. If you have any comments, questions, show what it is, leave that in the comment box of the video. I'll try to answer as many of those as possible. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.